plead the first. American dream, I plead the first. White shirt, blue jeans, I plead the first. American dream, I plead the first. White shirt, blue jeans, I plead the first. American dream.
All right, everybody, it's time to settle in for your long-awaited Friday episode of I Plead the First, and here I am in all my bearded glory to give you your Friday episode. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a longer one. I got a lot to say today, and I'm fired up. But before we get to that, we got to send our thoughts and prayers to Christina. She had her water pipes freeze up over at her house for the second time this week. So she's going through a lot of stuff over there. Go over to the Facebook page, leave her a message, send her your thoughts and prayers, let her know you're thinking about her until she gets back. And we may film an out-of-cycle episode just for you guys because I know some of you love to see the back and forth conversation with Christina and I. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Maybe you'll get a bonus episode. Let's go ahead and get started on this episode. Like I said, I'm fired up, so I'm going to give you guys a warning. I'm going to do my best to keep my language clean. If you're someone that does not like profanity, I'm sorry. I'm not trying, but I'm really fired up about this stuff, and I'm passionate. So if it slips, I apologize. I'm going to do my best for you. Let's talk about Joe Biden. Biden bans calling COVID the China virus or the Wuhan virus. This may not seem like a complex issue. Some of you may have a greater understanding of what this is than others, but I'm going to break it down for somebody that I'm going to assume just doesn't know what this is. So it's an executive order to prevent federal workers from using those two terms on federal official documents such as memorandums or any official form that you might fill out. In my 20 years of service in the DoD, working with multiple federal agencies, but federal agents as well, filling out all kinds of forms, writing hundreds of memorandums. I have never, and approving hundreds of memorandums, I have never seen anyone use slang terms like China virus or Wuhan virus in any context. It's just not something you do on an official government document. And the reason I'm saying this is because I seriously doubt it was such an issue that the President of the United States needed to make an executive order telling federal employees to stop using China virus and Wuhan virus in official documents. So you might be asking, well, if it wasn't such a problem, then why did President Biden have to do that? Well, because it's not the intent. The intent of this is to create an illusion that the office of the president or any office in any part of our government can ban any sort of speech. The intention is to get you to believe, and some of it, probably mostly to get their left-wing sycophants to believe that they've banned these words because these articles, and don't think that this isn't done in concert with these media outlets that are reporting this as him banning racist words. First of all, it's not racist because China isn't. I'm trying my best not to cuss, guys. I'm trying my best. China is not a race. China's not a race. Words matter. Context matters. China is not a race. The damn virus is from China. That's why it's called the China virus. That's why people call it the Wuhan virus, because it's from Wuhan. Wuhan isn't a race either. This tribal crap, the tribalism and the race baiting and the trying to play us all against each other. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it, guys. What he's trying to do with this executive order is he's trying to make people believe that he has the ability to compel speech or to ban speech. And I guarantee you're probably going to hear some people out there. I don't know what you guys call the virus. I call it whatever I feel like calling it. The Kung Flu. I've called it the Kung Flu, the China virus, the Wuhan virus. I've called it the Fauci flu. Who cares? But if you're one of those people that calls it those different names in slang, then you're probably going to run into some leftist somewhere that's going to stop you and say, excuse me, the president has banned that. The president banned that, actually. Did you know that? Are you aware? Are you aware? And then, if that happens to me, I'm going to have to restrain myself from going full up, knife hand, on an individual. It's not what this is intended to do. Executive orders can't do this kind of stuff. And if you call them on it, they'll hide behind it. If you call them on it and tell them what they're actually trying to do, what they're going to do is they're going to skate around, they're going to slither away from it, and they're going to say, oh, well, it's not for that. It's not a free speech issue. We're just trying to keep federal employees from using it in federal documents. Yeah, copy that. That's because that's all you can do, right? That's because that's all you can do. If you thought you could come out and you could ban these words, you wouldn't just ban these words, you'd ban a bunch of words, and you would compel speech like using people's preferred pronouns. That's next, okay? That's what's next, is you're going to see Joe come out and try to compel some kind of speech, and he'll do it just like this. He'll do it where he mandates federal employees in their federal capacity to use people's preferred pronouns, and they're going to try to make it look like they're making this a law, but they can't. You can't compel speech and you can't ban speech in the United States of America, and you never will. And the day they try it, the day they really, really try it, not this end around sneaky bullshit right here, that's the day when things come unglued, guys, because the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment and all the other amendments. So take that how you will. Yeah, I'm fired up today. Get it. Get some. Continuing on this same topic, I found a great article. I love this article so much. The Vox from Vox. Vox is a left-wing propaganda machine. And this article is from 13 months ago, as you can see by the date, January 23rd, 2020. And I picked this particular article for a reason. When you click on, see now down here, it doesn't say it. And on the video, perhaps you won't be able to see what it says up here. But when you find the article, let me see when I back up. Yeah, Wuhan, this article by Vox, Wuhan coronavirus. This is the left just 13 months ago, calling it the Wuhan coronavirus. And now Biden has banned that terminology. For what? So let's click on it and see what these idiots have to say. These window-licking morons go on to say that the evidence is clear. The travel bans do not work, and they cite what else other than freaking AIDS, because that is so much like an airborne virus, like the freaking Kung Flu. This is stupid. This whole article is trash. And let's get to the real reason why this article was written, because they've completely reversed their opinion now, completely reversed themselves. This happened because President Trump and several other countries put a travel ban in place. So their initial reaction is to disagree with anything President Trump did. It didn't matter if what he did was the right thing to do and smart. They were going to disagree with it. They were going to rally against it and write articles about how it was stupid. So they came up with this piece of crap article that's absolute garbage. And you can read it if you want to. I mean, you can see kind of the main points here. It's funny that they make arguments that they're arguing against now, right? They argue about the bird flu and everything else, swine flu, SARS, all this other crap. Go read this article if you really want to be pissed off for a while. Just go read this article. It's trash. But they did this for no other reason than to rally against Trump, because in January, Trump tried to get ahead of the coronavirus and ban travel from certain countries to include China, and they called it racist, and they called it everything else, other ists, every ist you could think, right? You're racist and sexist, and you're a homophobe, and you're a Zionist, and you're a whatever, man. Like, whatever ist they can tie to this, they're going to try to tie to it. It's complete garbage, and this is the hypocrisy of the left. This is what we live with, and you know what? I know I try to be even keel. I try to stay calm most of the time. I try to tell everybody that we got to be the bigger people, but today is not the day for me, so you guys are just going to have to deal with it. Today is the day that I'm pissed the frick off about these idiots and their moronic views and their window-licking ways. I'm done with it. Biden, this one really got me. This is what really pissed me off, to be honest. I don't sleep. Some of you may or may not know that. I just don't. If you guys knew my sleeping habits, I went to bed at 12:30 last night, and I woke up around 4:30. I don't get after it like I should and get in the gym or do anything physical like I probably should be doing, but I lay and I read a lot. And I came across this article. I've gotten a lot of things from this page. It seems to be a pretty legitimate page. They've never steered me wrong or put any false news out there. So I didn't think too much of it when I found this page and started reading this article. And then I saw this piece of crap video. And I'm sorry, I didn't watch his stupid town hall. If I did, I would have lost my mind. I've just been staying away from some of this crap, but now with the podcast, I have a reason to try to get back into it, just so I can give you guys information from a conservative point of view, so you don't have, excuse me, good grief, so you don't have to go out there and deal with this crap. We're going to listen to some of this video. I'll pause it periodically and give you my thoughts. This is another thing that we're probably going to talk about for a hot minute here.
I worry about ongoing threats to our country from Americans who embrace white supremacy and conspiracies that align with it. What can your administration do to address this complex and wide-ranging problem?
It's complex, it's wide-ranging, and it's real. I got involved in politics to begin with because of civil rights and opposition to white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Joe. You got into politics for civil rights? Then can you please explain to me why you oppose desegregation and busing? I'll wait.
And the most dangerous people in America continue to exist. That is the greatest threat to terror in America, domestic terror.
I must have missed it. I stayed out of the news for, a couple months, so I must have missed the part where we completely annihilated ISIS and Boko Haram and Hezbollah and the Taliban and every other freaking terrorist organization in the world that wants to destroy America and frequently plans attacks against us. Our intelligence community, our special forces community, our ISR community, that's intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, are constantly working to stop all these attacks and foil all these planned attacks. We've foiled countless attacks since 2001. It's not gone away, guys. It's not gone away like Mr. Biden wants you to believe. He just sat there and said that the biggest terroristic threat to America is a bunch of white supremacists. First of all, screw white supremacists. If you're a white supremacist, if you wanna do that, you like that kind of stuff, get the hell off my page. You don't have a place here. But for a moment, let's be realistic. When was the last time the KKK blew anything up? The 60s? I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've done something more recently, more violent. They certainly have a violent history. We all know that. They're a disgusting organization. We know that. But to compare them, not only compare them, but to put them in a risk factor above your global Islamic terrorist groups is insane. It's insanity. And it's irresponsible, and it's dangerous as a commander-in-chief. And you, sir, you're an idiot.
And so I would make sure that my Justice Department and the Civil Rights Division is focused heavily on those very folks. And I would make sure that we, in fact, focus on how to deal with the rise of white supremacy. And you see what's happening, the studies that are beginning to be done, maybe at your university as well, about the impact of former military, former police officers on the growth of white supremacy in some of these groups.
This is what pissed me off. That is the commander-in-chief of the United States military. For 4 years, we had to deal with the media and everybody picking apart every single word that President Trump said. But they won't do it with this jackwagon. Here's the deal. I know what he's talking about because I was in the military, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what he actually means, and then I'm going to tear him apart for being a dumbass. Here's what he's talking about. All sorts of gangs and organized crime, from the Mafia to MS-13, the Bloods and Crips, to, of course, the KKK. They love to take a young man, typically a young man, it could be a young woman as well, but typically it's a young man that doesn't have any serious crimes yet, misdemeanors only, and they will get him into the military at age 17 or 18 before he gets in trouble because he's already a member of this gang. They just hide that. They take that young man and they put him into whatever branch of the service that they're seeking training for. For the Army, they send a lot of dudes to the Army, right? And the Bloods and Crips were famous for this. They did it. The Mafia, they tend to recruit guys coming out rather than placing guys in, which I get it. It's probably a more effective way, honestly, and you're getting a more experienced person. But these other street gangs, what they like to do is they take that 18-year-old kid, they throw him into the Army or the Air Force or the Marines or the Navy. They let him learn whatever skill that these military branches will teach him, and then he comes home after his first term or after he gets kicked out, which is often, and he teaches those skills by derivative training to the entire gang, and then they end up using it on the police. And they do it with the police too. They will infiltrate the police. They will take a 21, 22-year-old kid that doesn't have much of a record. They'll try to get him into a police department, receive police training so that they can turn their training against them. You know why? Because it's smart. If you think these gang members and these organized crime people are stupid, then you are the actual stupid one. Okay? Understand that these people, they make a living and usually do it for quite a long time because they're not stupid. All right? So that's what he's really talking about. People will infiltrate the military, all of these groups, and they will go back and they will give this derivative training. Is it swelling the ranks of white supremacy? No. And let me address this. And here's my real concern. If you don't have any interaction with the military, which most people don't, there's only 1 million people in the military. So that is 1 million families across the United States that has a family member in the military. Now, a lot of you will know one of those families, but you may not get a lot of interaction with the actual military member. And you just kind of hear things and watch stuff on TV. My concern is when Joe Biden gets on television on freaking CNN and says stuff like this, that it creates a perception that there's a bunch of racists in the military. There's not. I guarantee you, if they did a scientific study, which I hope they do, you would find less racism in the military than the population as a whole. Are there racists? Sure, there is absolutely racist. The military is a microcosm of society. So often you are going to find similar numbers in the military to what you would find in regular society. So what you'll see, sorry I looked at my watch and got distracted. That's Christina trying to call me. Hi, Christina. I'll call you back. So in any of these groups, whether it's the military or some government agency or anything, you're going to have a microcosm of society, meaning you're going to have bad people too. We can't keep 100% of the bad people that apply to be in the military out of the military. We just can't get it done. Okay? But the way to fix the problem that he's talking about is not whatever the hell he's suggesting. He hasn't even suggested a fix to it. But I'll give you the fix. The fix is to give the commanders at the lowest level, for those of you that don't know, I'm talking company level, I'm talking squadron level, commanders need to be able to make the decision to kick someone out when we know that they're a bad person, because we do. And I can tell you a million stories. I'll tell you a really quick, really condensed version of one of my horror stories. We got a guy that was coming out of technical training. We knew he already had a domestic case that he had just been charged with. And we called technical school, told him, hey, don't send this guy. Oh, you guys should kick him out. We don't want him here. They refused to do so because their job is to get people trained. And if they start kicking people out there, they mess their numbers up, which is crap, because the entire military is based on putting out numbers so that guys like this jackwagon sitting at their desk can, see, we met our goals. Well, we need to be more discerning. Anyway, this guy got to his first base, which is where I was stationed at, and we knew he was trouble. He got minor in possession, drinking underage, and in the end, this is gonna be shocking to some of you guys. He had 5 DUIs. Now you guys might be thinking, well, that's you guys not doing your job, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. But let me tell you something. We knew from day one we wanted that guy kicked out, and we started the paperwork right away. We started doing hey, everybody's got to build a paper trail just like in the civilian life, right? But it's even worse in the military. We started building that paper trail from the beginning. And legal would fight us, and they say, this isn't enough to kick him out. This isn't enough to kick him out. We're handcuffed, guys. We knew right from the beginning. We're seasoned senior NCOs, and officers. And these guys, we all knew, this guy's got to go. but they wouldn't let us. They handcuffed us. Our commander didn't have the authority to kick somebody out that was a detriment to the safety of the base, detriment to the health and welfare of the family members living on the base, and it's certainly a detriment to the unit. We ended up losing 45 days while he was in a treatment facility for his alcohol abuse. And anyway, I could go on and on. I don't want to get too much into it. The people that know me are going to, the people that was stationed with me at the time, definitely going to know who I was talking about. It was a nightmare. And that's why we can't weed out these kids that are getting planted in by gangs and stuff. Cause I've seen them. One of my guys that I joined with, I mean, he was a little younger than me. He came in maybe a year after me. He was straight from a Chicago gang, told me that. And I guarantee you, after he was done, he went back and took whatever he learned and applied it to their organization, because that's what they do. Lucky for him, I mean, I don't think there was a whole bunch that he could apply from what the base that we ended up at. I think he kind of crapped out on that. So good for luck, I guess. But hey, man, that's what he's trying to get at. But what he said is not that. And now it's going to give a perception to you, the civilians out there, that your military is full of slimy racists. That's not the case. Actually, my experience coming out of the military has been eye-opening. My dealings with civilians and how you guys deal with race and interact with each other has been shocking. That's not what I'm used to. Me and my people, we all get along, man, and we all embrace each other's differences, which is, I think, the key difference. You guys want to pretend like everybody's the same. We're not the same. I'm sorry. Black culture is black culture. It's awesome, and people copy it and take things from black culture because it's cool. And Mexican culture is amazing, and Native American culture is amazing, and all these. We're different people. We have different habits. We have different character traits and personality traits and different traditions based on our cultural diversity. And you guys in the civilian world seemingly want to just act like everybody's all the same. We're not all the freaking same, man. Let's see if this jackass has anything else to say.
You may remember in one of my debates with the former president, I asked him to condemn the Proud Boys. He wouldn't do it. He said, stand by, stand ready, or whatever the phrase exactly was.
Okay, first of all, I watched like a 7-minute video of Donald Trump condemning all kinds of racist extremists. And during that actual exchange that he's talking about, the very first thing he said is, yes, I condemn them. But the Proud Boys, I haven't done all my research on the Proud Boys yet, but I find it hard to believe that they're a racist organization, because last time I even began to dig into it, the leader of the Proud Boys was a black guy. He certainly wasn't white. Maybe he's not black, but he was definitely a brown person. How is that organization racist? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If you guys know more about the Proud Boys and how they're a racist organization, please let me know. But I kind of honestly stopped doing my research when the first thing I found was the leader of the Proud Boys was not white. Doesn't fit the narrative.
Is a bane on our existence. It has always been, as Lincoln said, we have to appeal to our better angels, and these guys are not, and women are in fact demented. They are dangerous people.
Okay.
I want you to meet James Lewis, an independent. Here's
the thing. I know some people were writing some articles and they seem to be taking, they seem to be upset that he called white supremacists demented. I don't know. I don't know why that was even worthy to make it into any kind of a headline. White supremacists are demented. Any racist is demented. I don't know what the problem is there. So I have no issue with him saying that. But that was a hour and a half long or hour and 10 minute long just softball pitch game to Joe Biden, a bunch of bullcrap questions from a bunch of Democrats that are just sycophants. I had an entirely different show planned, but just too much crap pissed me off today. Look at this. This was trending on Twitter. Rest in piss is trending as a result of the passing of Rush Limbaugh. You slimy, oh, I about said, ooh, I dropped up, ooh, this close. You are disgusting human beings. You will never, ever, ever hear me go that nasty and that low on somebody that it just happens to be a political adversary or someone who just has different political views from me. It's disgusting. You know, to sit there and say that I've never celebrated someone's death, that's not true. I celebrated Osama bin Laden's death. I celebrated Saddam Hussein's death. I celebrated 3 or 4 dozen other civilians, not civilians. Sorry, guys. I celebrated 3 or 4 dozen other terrorist deaths because they're terrorists. But Rush Limbaugh wasn't a terrorist. Rush Limbaugh never cut a 13-year-old's head off in Lebanon, you know? I don't want to go down that road. Don't want to get too dark on you guys. Some of you guys not ready for that talk. But I'll tell you this. There's nasty people. There's nasty people in the world. And they're not the Rush Limbaughs of the world. Frankly, they're not even the Rachel Maddows of the world. She pisses me off. I hate her. Can't stand her. But she's not a terrorist, and she's not cutting people's heads off or throwing homosexuals off of buildings like Islamic terrorist groups do over in the Middle East. There's some really true evil in the world, and I reserve my emotions of glee for someone's passing for those people only, for truly evil people. To sit there and celebrate the passing of someone that you just happened to disagree with and didn't like what he had to say. That's all it comes down to. Because, listen, Rush Limbaugh made a living out of talking, so there's really nothing else you could like or dislike him for, to be frank. If you didn't like what he said, you're going to hate him that much? Hey, like I said, I can't stand Rachel Maddow. I would never treat her like that. If I came across her on the highway broken down, I'd fix her tire or whatever she needed. Take her to the gas station. Treat her like a human being. If she died tomorrow, I certainly wouldn't be on Twitter rejoicing, saying rest in piss. It's disgusting. This country better get over this. We better get over it. And I'm going to tell you a hard fact right now because some of you might not want to hear this. We're guilty of it on the right, too. We don't do it as much. We're not as bad at it, and I will freely admit that. But we got to cut it out completely. You know, I'm mad today. Had some words. Pretty upset. Way less squared away than I normally am. But I didn't spew any hate. I don't wish anything bad to happen to Joe Biden. He's a human being. He has a family and kids that love him and all that stuff. I don't believe in that. So I guess my message is, get out there, be boisterous, tell them how it is. I mean, get this stuff out here. I'll put this Vox channel, this Vox article on Facebook tonight so you guys can share it and ask your liberal friends, what the hell? What happened? What happened since January 23rd of 2020 when you said don't do anything about the virus? What changed? Because just a few months later, we're talking about, hey, you didn't do enough. Bullcrap. All right. Let's shift gears here. Calm it down a little bit. While I was going through all this and preparing for this episode, I noticed that Joe Biden pretty much is Walter. Look at him. Tell me that's not Joe Biden with a little less hair. I mean, that's hilarious. And if you haven't seen Jeff Dunham, you got to go out and see Jeff Dunham live if he comes around, does shows. I don't know. I guess they're probably not doing shows right now, but whenever they get back to that kind of stuff, go see this guy. He's hilarious, man. I talked my buddy Bob into going with me to the show live. He had his reservations. In fact, his exact words were, Joe, why the hell would I want to go watch a puppet show live? But we had a great time. It was freaking hilarious. Wonderful show. So if you get a chance to go see Jeff Dunham stick his hand up with Joe Biden's ass, then definitely go see that because it's funny. Last thing I'm going to talk about, guys, before we call it a day. I got an opportunity last night to talk to Stricknine, a.k.a. Joe Strickland, who does our intro music for the show. And we had a great conversation, man. And he's a great dude. Seems like he's got his stuff together and really got his head screwed on pretty well. Pretty smart guy. We had a fun conversation and probably going to try to get him on the show at some point here so we could do a Zoom call or something like that, record it, and post it up for you guys. He had a lot of interesting thoughts on things and interesting views, interesting perspectives. I just want to give him a special thanks and a shout out for letting us use his music. He certainly didn't have to do that, but he always goes a step further. This dude's out pushing the page for me, shares all kinds of stuff, shares all kinds of my videos, always is commenting, interacts with you guys that comment too. And he's a really cool dude. So if you see him in the comments or whatever, make sure you give him a shout out and say thank you for letting us use his music. Go out and buy his music. It's on Amazon. It's dirt cheap. He's got a lot of really cool songs. He explained to me some of his thought process and artistic views on why he does his album a certain way. I haven't listened to the whole album yet, but I'm going to. But he's got some really, really cool views and interesting views on stuff. So go check him out. Go check him out at Instagram. Check him out on well, he's banned from Facebook right now. Check him out in Amazon, buy his music, and check him out on Instagram. Check out the Facebook page. Start interacting, guys. If we can get all 300 something people as of recording today to subscribe, we are getting really close then at that point to being able to leverage our channel to get people to come on that you guys might want to hear me talk to also get some funding going so I can buy better equipment, make a better product for you guys, all that kind of stuff. So if you like the channel, you like the content, you like what I talk about, get on there, help us a little bit. All it takes is a few seconds to click over and like this, share this, and then go over to the YouTube channel itself. Make sure you are subscribed. I already showed that once, but I'm going to show it one more time because I know that a few people have went ahead and told me that they just don't know how to subscribe to a channel. So, you know what? We won't even do it on my channel. We'll do it on somebody else's channel so you can see. It's easy.
I switched from State Farm
just get on
because
here.
of the site.
Let's shut her up. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Great show. Highly recommend it. So you get done watching this video, you just like it, and then you subscribe, and you hit this bell icon, and you're liked and subscribed. The bell icon is going to give you notifications every time I upload a video, so you get to see it. So also there is a video out, episode 8. All right, guys, so you found I Plead the First. Go out there to episode 8. If you haven't already watched it, watch it today. Get on there and listen all the way, watch it all the way to the end, because there's instructions on how to win a free shirt. So if you want to win a free shirt from the store, get on there, watch it all the way to the end. It's only 20 minutes, guys. Come on. And then at the end of it, I tell you how to do it. Follow those instructions. There's only one person right now that's even eligible to win the free shirt. So don't just give the shirt away, guys. Try to make him work for it. Anyway, with that, I'm going to sign off. That's today's episode. This will be about a 45-minute episode by the time I get done editing and putting everything in. So about a normal episode for us on a Friday. Leave your comments. Let us know what you're thinking. And hopefully we'll see Christina back soon. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys as always. We'll see you next time.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah. Everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah. Close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you.